Interfering with human evolution is one of the 6 cardinal sins recognized by the Sumer academia. They believe these sins are the source of all crimes, and to research topics related to them is to risk punishment, including expulsion and imprisonment. But that's just bizarre, because humans didn't evolve to begin with. Teyvat does not mirror the evolution that happened in our world. Instead, humanity and all living creatures of the human realm were created by the primordial one and one of its shades. That's what Before Sun and Moon tells us, so it has to be correct, right? How could one even interfere with human evolution then? Except the contents of Before Sun and Moon are not known by the general public. In fact, common folk are forbidden to read it, so one would not know to not to go researching such taboo topics. For the academia to go so far as to recognize this as a sin, it is very possible that, at some point in the past, some poor researcher found themselves on Celestia's bad side over their findings. Or maybe, Celestia found themselves on the bad side of a certain deranged doctor. Because someone is lying, and the truth may be so much darker than we could ever imagine. Welcome to the theory of human evolution. Before we start, do remember that this is just a theory, a very speculative one at that. You may even call it a crack theory. So get your tinfoil hat and your grain of salt and let's get right into it. To say that evolution is something that simply doesn't happen in Teyvat would be incorrect. It is simply not the kind of evolution that happens over thousands of years to shape a species into being better adapted to its environment. Instead, it's an individual process that occurs over one's lifetime. The best example of this is none other than Ajdaha. He is a geofrog, dragon, that we all hate to fight. But he likely didn't always look like this. In fact, maybe Ajdaha probably looked more like this. No, the smaller version. There we go. He is one of the oldest geovishabs after all. Vishabs are said to be able to evolve into true dragons over time, and that's what he did. Though, in the process of his evolution, he likely took on the form of a Primo Geovishab first, as that seems to be an intermediate form. He's like a Pokemon. The question is, how did this evolution happen? And the answer is simple: elemental energy. The Primo Geovishab drops juvenile jade. Here, I want you to listen to its description. A crystalline substance taken from a Primo Geovishab. Within it is contained the potential to become a dragon. These dull crystals are precipitated within the bodies of bishops sleeping in the mountains. Liyue folklore holds that they will gather power over many years, after which this crystal will, at last, replace the original heart, and the bishop will become a true dragon, one that can shake the mountains and split the earth. They collect power over many years, just like Ajdaha collected power from the Leylands. So dragons and bishops, which are creatures that hail from the bishop realm, also known as the light realm or the elemental realm, evolve by drawing power from elemental energy. Makes sense, right? This is more of a side note, but I would even go as far as to say that Ajdaha might have been well on his way to evolve again, though he might not due to how eroded he is. We know that elemental creatures can be reborn, even if that means never being the same again. We also know that the Dragon King, Nibelung, died in his fight against heavenly principles, having eventually been reborn. We know nothing about it at present, but what we do know is that Ajdaha has 3 different drops, one of which is called the Dragon Lord's Crown, meaning Ajdaha could have been meant to be the new incarnation of Nibelung, but I digress. The point is, the bishop set a precedent for the process of evolution in this world, but it actually tells us nothing about human evolution. The human realm is incompatible with the light and void realms, and high concentrations of elemental energy are harmful to the human body. Just like Sandik, aka Il Dottore, knows so well. The second Fatui Harbinger wishes to liken humanity to divinity, and that led him to conduct experiments on patients with Elazar. He documented that this disease is a result of one having a higher elemental content than normal. He was, however, successful in stopping the effects of late-stage Elazar and in weaponizing the patient, though with a lot of drawbacks and a very real risk of death. What did he use to do it? The remains of gods. If humans cannot use elemental energy directly to evolve, this may be a more roundabout way of doing it. Perhaps this could work for any of the Primordial One's creations, not just for humans. And there is evidence that this works in more places than you would think. Starting with Andreas, who is said to have received his powers from an ancient god. That's all we know. At no point have we been told how he received such a gift. But if I had to take a guess, I'd say he ate that god. I know, but listen to me. Kali was infused with the remains of a god or arcane residue, and that gave her the ability to wield black fire. Said remains were later sealed inside her body by Sino. So, if one needs to have these remains inside one's body to reap the benefits, eating the god sounds like a straightforward solution. And what if I told you that we know this happens? Have you ever read a description of the consecrated flying serpents? It states, a reptile that has mutated after feeding from greater life forms. Though now imbued with the power of elemental manipulation, the consecrated beasts themselves still cannot fully digest the pieces of flesh they devoured from the immortal carcasses that they ate. Instead, the pieces slowly fused with the beasts themselves, weaving a bony shell over their body. A serpent ate the body of an immortal being and acquired elemental control. You see what I am getting, right? Feeding off gods seems to be the way for human realm creatures to evolve, humans included. But it doesn't come without its risks, and I can see the celestial gods not being overly fond of what could easily be considered a form of human arrogation, so it makes sense for the academia to brand this branch of research as being sinful. But this begs a huge question. What about visions then? They are also a form of human evolution. They give one elemental control capabilities as well as a stronger, more durable body, and they even allow the lucky few to ascend into godhood. When talking about visions, Venti specifically mentioned they are external foci of elemental energy, likely as a means to avoid any nefarious effects it would otherwise have on the human body, meaning that Celestia is actively seeking out a way to circumvent the limitations of the human body while still allowing humanity to evolve without having to consume gods. Why? Really, why give visions out at all when they seem to really want to contain humanity? The answer? They are hungry. The human realm is incompatible with the other two realms in this world. Its creatures are mostly incompatible with elemental energy. Seems like a pretty big flaw in design when you consider there are ley lines through which elemental energy flows everywhere. This might be a case of a creator being incapable of creating something greater than itself, meaning the primordial one cannot create humans who are compatible with this kind of energy if it, itself, is not. And if it is not compatible with elemental energy, it would not be able to draw power in the way bishops and dragons do. It would have to rely on other gods. One of the quotes in the Traveler's page states, "The Keeper is fading away, the Creator has not yet come, but the world shall burn no more, for you shall ascend." Fading? Weakening? Think about it. Originally, the Primordial One and its shades catered to humanity. They were in direct contact with them. But then the second who came arrived and waged a lengthy war against them. During that time, only Staroth kept in touch with the people of Enkanomiya. Even after the war, the contact between humans and gods was never re-established. They began to seclude themselves in their heavenly abode. According to Nahida, heavenly principles made its move 500 years ago, during the Cataclysm, likely due to the scale of the event, but hasn't been seen since. And it's not like there aren't several plots being put into motion that should very much concern it. Even the establishment of the Archons might have been a way to transfer power and responsibilities away from Celestia. It's like it is on power-saving mode. What I am trying to say is that the war between the thrones might have worn down the celestial gods a great deal, so much so that they are fading, so much so that they need to replenish their power. And if they are anything like their creations, this power might come in the form of other gods. Newly ascended gods. We have seen a part of Celestia, the one that seems to be reserved for new arrivals, and it looks remarkably like a prison, like it is preventing you from escaping. Could Celestia be giving out visions to determine who would make for a good meal? Perhaps Tevat is just one huge farm, and humanity is the livestock. But what do you think? I wouldn't at all be surprised if this was true, due to how many dark themes are already in-game, but it is very much a crack theory, so keep that in mind. Do let me know your thoughts on it in the comments though. Do you think Celestia eats their allergens? What do you think the purpose of the visions truly is? That's all from me today. My name is Blue, and I'll see you again soon. Safe journey, travelers!